Hi, and welcome to the Yarn Habit Geek podcast. My name is Laura. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Ravelry as Yarn Habit Geek. There is also a Ravelry group for the podcast where you can find all the show notes and take part in the Doctor Who Cal, which had been extended to the end of August. And before we get into this week's episode, a little note that I'm going to not be doing any more Tutorial Tuesdays, just because I'm probably going to do the Tutorial Tuesdays more on the months with the big holidays, so that way they will be themed, so that's why I haven't done a Tutorial Tuesday in a while, so that's because I'm taking a break from it. So let's get started with this week's episode, shall we? Alright, let's get started with whips of the week. First up is the item I'm knitting alongside for the Doctor Who Cal, which is the 5th Doctor's cricket jumper. I still have a long ways to go on the back, but after I'm done the back, I'm going to work on the sleeves, even though in the pattern it says to work on the front next. I just want to be able to just quickly get through the sleeves. But I've got it's about halfway done before I can, actually it's a little more than halfway done before I get to the armhole shaping for the back. So yay. And next up is the Cozy Memories blanket. So, if you remember last week's episode, I had accidentally pulled the needle out on camera on this square I was working on. So I just basically frogged this square and restarted it. And it honestly looks better. Like, the yarn I used for this square and this square were two of my own personal hand-dyed yarns that I did myself, that I did it more Disney themed, but after knitting it up, I think I'm gonna just give them new names, because this one I'm renaming Cotton Candy Fantasy because, well, it's got the blue and pinks of basically cotton candy with just a tiny hint of purple. And this one was my Jolly Holiday with Mary yarn based on Bert's suit during the Jolly Holiday. He's seen in Mary Poppins. But now that I knit it up, I might just name it Autumn Sunset. That's because it's got all those autumn colors. So that is it with the Cozy Memories blanket. I'm going to probably pop in another square or two before next week's episode as well. So next up, the good old Red Hood sweater, and I'm basically almost done the first row of targets, so next week I get to next week I will be on the next row of targets, and I have to really work on this because I want to finish this before FanX for next month, actually. Man, this summer it just flew by like that. And next up is something I decided to get back to work on because it is another commission for the Hogwarts bobble stitch blanket. I was working on it yesterday, so I didn't get much done, but I've just started the second row of the black baubles. Basically, once I get through that stretch of black baubles, I can start all the color work again, so yay! And last up, because it is the last Wednesday of the month, you all get to see the temperature blanket, and obviously I'm not going to show the bottom portion because that you've seen in previous episodes, but I still have a couple of days I have to put in before today because I really need to actually catch up on rows on this, but I'll be posting the final end of the month for July picture for this on my Facebook page in the temperature blanket album. But yay! So this has basically been the summer. It has been all in yellow, and we had one day in which I had to use the red, which was like 33 degrees Celsius. Basically, I do not really look at the temperature unless it's winter or fall, just to determine how many layers I wear outside. But that is actually it for Whips of the Week. We have something in Finished Object this week, so let's get to that segment, shall we? Alright, it's Finished Object time, and guess what? I have a finished object. I finished it last night. And if you check my personal Ravelry page in my projects, you'll see I've updated that for this finished object, and I also posted it on Facebook and Instagram, and it's my Jack and the Beanstalk socks. I started these like back a little over 2 years ago, weirdly on April Fool's Day. But the fact that I finally finished these, and I know after working on the second sock that I goofed up on the heel for the first sock. But these are for me, so I don't care about the mistakes because they're for me. Yeah, and I made a promise to myself that I would finish more socks that I started but haven't been able to finish working on. So these are the first pair I finished for myself this year. Next up, I'm going to hopefully finish those Griffin socks. Yeah, so if you're wondering where the pattern these are from, it's from a book called Once Upon a Time. No, not Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Knit. Sorry, I've got Once Upon a Time, the show, on my brain. Because I'm kind of making something from that for a con. And it's been popping up in my memories, so yay. So we got cabling, we got the bean, and basically this is the bean and pea pattern. This is the braided cable, although they made a few mistakes in the pattern in the book when it came to the cabling, because in the picture the cables were doing the cables in the picture differ from what's being shown in the pattern for the cable. So if I ever make these socks again, I'll make sure to just update the notes, because I think they didn't realize they goofed on the cable pattern. So, and that is it for finished objects, and also it for this week's episode. I will see you all next week. Hopefully I will have another finished object. I don't really know, because there are some long projects that I have to work on, but I also have some amigurumis that I gotta get back to work on. That will be quick for me to finish, so yay for that. I will see you all next week. Till then, stay crafty, my friends.